But I have a question for you, Nam, and for you, SK. So we know that Jeffrey Epstein had a penchant for having a wing woman around him. Ghislaine Maxwell served that role for a very long time, right? She was his quote unquote girlfriend. And then she went and got herself married after he went to jail. She kind of separated herself from him and then went and tried to live her own separate life. And now, as I'm reading through these emails and I'm watching the interactions between Jeffrey Epstein and Barack Obama's former chief White House counsel, his personal attorney, it certainly looks a lot to me like there was a very friendly, very cozy, very symbiotic relationship there between Rumler and Epstein. Was Rumler Epstein's new girlfriend?
I don't know. I know that there were a number of trips, there were a number of meetings, lunches, dinners, and I believe she even had scheduled trips to travel with him. But Catherine Rumler, I believe, has come out since Epstein was arrested in 2019 and basically claimed, I don't have the statement in front of me, but basically claimed, being friendly with Jeffrey Epstein was, a big mistake on her part. And, he's a horrible human being and all of those things, which is fascinating because what Megyn Kelly was just talking about, and it's probably my fault. I probably should have set that video up a little bit better. What last week, Megyn Kelly did, I think, about a 25-minute segment on this, and it was focused on Michael Wolff, who Michael Wolff did a couple of books on Epstein, and Michael Wolff and Epstein were working together to try to take Trump down in 2016 and in 2020. He wrote 2 books on the matter. Michael Wolff claims that he has over 100 hours of video interview with Jeffrey Epstein, though he only released about an hour and 40 minutes of that 100 hours. And there are emails in this tranche of emails that were dumped with Michael Wolff, and Michael Wolff was giving him advice on how to sort of revitalize his image and how to do these things. He also called on Epstein in 2016. I believe it was on October 28th or 29th of 2016, which is a week before the election, saying, hey, you might have an opportunity to finally take Trump out, take him down. And then he tried to do the same thing again in 2020. If Michael Wolff has almost over 100 hours of recorded interview, and he only released an hour and 40 minutes of it, where's the smoking gun? So that's the setup of what Megyn Kelly was referring to, because she and her team had actually already seen a somewhat larger portion of that 100 hours of video, and she was retelling a meeting that happened between Jeffrey Epstein, Michael Wolff, Catherine Rumler, and Steve Bannon, and it was in April of 2019. So just a few months before he's arrested by the Trump DOJ, and basically he gets indicted and he's getting ready to stand trial. A few months before that, they had a meeting that was specifically tailored to how do you sort of clean up Epstein's image so that he could then come back out into the public, because there's a ton of Democrats that were using him and relying on him, and we're going to talk about all this. Right? A ton of money being donated to campaigns.